People are like, who is Daniellevictor? And I'm like, bitch, it's Danny with 2 N's. Am I a fashion blogger? Maybe. Am I a storyteller? For sure. Am I a badass bitch? Absolutely. So if you're smart, you'll subscribe to my channel.
Hi everyone! I don't have any makeup on today. I'm just doing a video because I feel like I'm inclined to do this video because I did not sleep. I sleep like a baby most of the time. As soon as I lay down on the pillow, see ya in the morning. But last night, I just found myself in deep thought and feeling wide awake while I was in deep thought. So I actually didn't go to bed till very late. And then when I did fall asleep, I've been having really extremely vivid dreams for 3 days now, and some of the vivid dreams seem like nightmares. I've been tossing and turning. I didn't even go to the gym this morning. Just overall, I'm a sweepy girl, but a sweepy girl that had a lot of thoughts, and I wanted to share those thoughts with you. I was thinking about how in multiple videos I've done with Gabby, and or if I'm having conversations with strangers and I say that everyone is God in human form or everyone is God in action, and they follow up, well, if that's the case and you are God, and you are God in action, and you are God in human form, why don't you have everything that you want? And I was really thinking about how to answer that question, not even to when people say that to me as a rebuttal, but also how can I answer that question for myself, right? So I was thinking about my own situation, really, and I've realized that in a lot of the videos that I've edited since I came back to YouTube, I'm constantly referring to my past experience. I was almost murdered. I experienced this with the federal government. I whistleblowed on judges, lawyers, law firms working together in a criminal, whatever my story is, right? I'm constantly, even to this day, holding on to that story and telling that story and living in that story. When it comes to money, right? I'm constantly surrounded by my family who is doing it because, one, we have different mindsets, and two, because I know that they care about me and they want to see me flourishing and doing well, but constantly telling me that I have not enough, I'm not doing enough, and basically that I'm in poverty, right? So I'm thinking of all these thoughts, and I'm thinking about that question, well, if I am God, how do I not have everything that I want? And I've realized that it's because I'm constantly living in my past, which is the story that I've always told. Even before all of this, even before my experience, since we were little girls, we lived in a family where there was a very scarcity mindset, a very lackful mindset. I mean, we started working when we were 14 because it is instilled in us that you have to have money, but even if you have money, it's just not enough. Our family couldn't afford what other kids were affording. And it wasn't until we were in middle school that I realized our family was not the poorest, but we were poor. And all the girls were wearing Abercrombie & Fitch, and I wanted Abercrombie & Fitch, and the only way that I thought that I could afford that was if I got a job at Abercrombie & Fitch. And then so I get a job at Abercrombie & Fitch, and I still can't even afford the clothes with the employee discount, instilling further in me that I am poor and I'm living in poverty. So I've realized that I do know who I am. I know that I am God in human form. Our hearts cannot beat without God. We cannot breathe without God. Flowers bloom because of God. We walk, we wake up, we live our lives because of God. We are not separate from the source of all creation. It's just an impossibility. And anyone who argues aside of that, I just don't have the time and energy to argue with you. Believe what you want, but no one is separate from the one true source. So if we're not separate from the source that creates money, the only separation that stands between us is me. So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, okay, well, it's not because I'm not God, and it's not because I don't believe that I'm not God. It's because I've believed for so much longer that I'm all these things that I am not. I have spent my entire life thinking that I was unwealthy, unworthy, unloved, unpretty, really. A laundry list of negative things. And so I've been on this spiritual journey since 2021, when I'm literally on my knees begging for my life, like, please save me and my dog from this situation. And then I start walking a different path, and as I'm walking this path, my beliefs start to change. So I have, at the time in 2021, I believe I was 33 years old, because I remember thinking, that's the year Jesus was alive till. He lived till he was 33. My life was changed at 33. I feel like I was alive, then died, then resurrected to live again. That's how I feel. I'm 37 now, so I spent 33 years instilling an entire program inside of me of lack and scarcity and unworthiness and every belief that no human on this planet should think about themselves, because you are not just a human, you are a divine human. You are a divine superhuman when you can step into it. But with that being said, we are born, we have forgotten, and we have to remember again who we are. And so I'm thinking to myself, where is the disconnect in my own life where I haven't stepped into what I know I'm already living? Because if you can close your eyes and envision yourself doing something, wearing a certain outfit, being at a certain place at a certain time, working a certain job, writing a certain book, standing on a stage, talking to millions of people, inspiring them to be better, to do better, and to have better thoughts, then you are in fact, there's a version of you already living that. You just have to raise your frequency or vibration to step into that version so that you could be living that in your physical reality. So my question to myself is, if I am God in human form, then how have I not stepped into my own divine power to have everything in my hands and use right now that I so desire? I'm reflecting on the videos that I've edited for my YouTube channel, and I notice that I'm constantly talking about my past. I'm constantly living in the version of myself that lived in the past. And so is that version of me in the past, or is that the version of who I am right now, if that is what I'm constantly focusing on? And what I mean by that is, I tell the story about what happened to me, about whistleblowing and almost losing my life, and my body and my mind can't tell whether that's a memory or if I'm currently in that situation. But how often have you heard me come on this channel to say it's already done? I've already won. I've won my case. I'm celebrating a victory. I haven't done that often. So I'm not talking about the version of myself that I know exists, because I already know that victory is done. I already know that I'm winning. I already know that I, Daniellevictor, am the first United States citizen to win over $511 million in a settlement representing myself against the United States government. I'm celebrating winning my cases in Massachusetts and my case in California. In return, I'm taking care of my family, traveling the world and helping others, and building an animal sanctuary called, not going to give you the name. This is a decree that I've said to myself 1 to 3 times a day for a very long time. And in the beginning, I wrote it down on a piece of paper because writing it down is law. Then I realized that the most vibration that we have in our bodies is through our tongues. And I realized that you can decree in your mouth all day long, in your mind all day long, but if you decree with your tongue, it's even more powerful. So I decided that I was going to start saying these decrees out loud. And even so, sometimes if I feel negative energy, or if I feel like anxiety is taking over, I'll stay in my head over and over again affirmations like, I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life now made manifest. I am the pure mind of God. I know that only God's divine energy is working within this body, so any appearance of pain or disturbance is being corrected now. There are so many decrees that you can say that will instantly come into fruition right before your eyes. I've realized, okay, I'm all over the place here, but stay with me. Stay with me. The other day, so the squirrels come to my mom's back deck, but it was been like a couple days and I haven't seen them. And I said, God, I want to see squirrels right now on the deck. And I'm not kidding you. Within 1 minute, a minute and a half, 2-3 squirrels just at the deck staring into my back door. And I go, that's how powerful my command is. That's how powerful I can decree things and then they can show up. The reason I have been decreeing stuff like my settlement and victory and justice and it's taking longer is because I'm still telling a story, which means I'm still living in a story from my past. So in the past, it's about victim Danielle. It's about the version of Danielle that got hurt, got oppressed, got maliciously attacked, got everything robbed from her. All these negative things is in the past. And I am still telling that story, which means I am still holding on to that version of myself. And if I'm holding on to that version of myself, how could I possibly be this new version of myself that has stepped into victory, stepped into success, and is one with the goddess of justice, goddess of victory, goddess of liberty? How can I be that if I'm still the Danielle that is scared in her apartment in West Hollywood, Los Angeles? How can I be both? I can't. So I realized, for instance, let's talk about the money situation. It is very easy for some people, good, bad, evil, whatever you want to call them, to manifest money into their experience because they do not attach themselves to a version of themselves where they are still living in scarcity and lack. And I know that I still identify, even though I know how rich I am, how wealthy I am, I know my birthright. I know that everything in this world that I want is already mine. I know that. I truly, truly know that. But because I spent 33 years living a version of myself in lack, living in a family that is still about lack. I mean, the amount of times in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year that I hear family members complain about money and society and rich people, it is insanity. So I've had 30 plus years of listening to this instilled into my subconscious mind, and I know that there is still programming within me that is attached to that bondage, to scarcity and lack. I started talking to myself last night, okay, so how do I break myself free of these chains? How do I break myself free from being the Danielle that is not prospering the way that I was born to do? I promise you guys, and it's not just me, it's you too, it's anyone watching this video, the amount of purpose you have just by simply being born, you couldn't even begin to comprehend. The plans that, and even if you don't believe in God, even though it's God, you could call source, creation, creator, whatever you feel comfortable calling it, you being here has so much purpose, undeniably. And we spend our entire lives, a lot of us, and I think a lot of us have lived many, many lives over and over again, not living out that purpose because we get attached to these programs that are instilled in us by everyone else but us. When was the last time you sat down with yourself and had a conversation about what it is you actually want to do, and why is it that you're stuck, and why do you feel this certain way, and why are you attached to so many different emotions? I've been attached to my past. I've been attached to past versions of myself, and that is why I haven't stepped fully into my divinity. But my superpower is my awareness of that. My awareness of my, and I'm not going to say separation because I'm not separate from God. It is my attachment. My attachment to the past. What I'm trying to say ultimately is how the conversation ended last night between myself and I, myself and thee, God and me, was in order to live the life that I want to live, in order for my dreams to be fulfilled, for my wishes to be fulfilled, for the version of Danielle that I know already exists, for my justice, for my peace, I have to let go of my past history. I have to start telling a different story. I have to start living a different truth, because every time I step into that version of myself from the past, I am there again, starting over again from there, from that starting point. If I'm constantly worried that I'm gonna open my phone and look at my bank account and see something negative, there's gonna be something negative in there. But if I know that I am one with the source of all that is, I am one with the source and the creation of money, then money is endless, limitless, abundant. The source of my supply is instant. Instead of holding on to the version of myself that was 16 years old working at Abercrombie & Fitch for bare minimum, not even to be able to afford clothes I wanted to buy to fit in with the girls at school that were all wearing it because their families could afford wearing it but mine couldn't, I have to let that past history go. And I have to be the version of myself that can buy anything, go anywhere, go to any party, be invited to any party, step into every room because I'm wanted there and because I bless it every time I walk in. I need to step fully into that, and sometimes it's hard to do because you're living the same thing over and over again. Couldn't it be argued that we're living the same day over and over and over again because we expect to? Isn't it the expectation that we have given ourselves what damns us? For the longest time, I've always told myself, even in videos that I've edited and put out, that there's always an uphill battle. I write one brief, I gotta write another. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. All the battles continuing and it's ongoing. I've never said, you know what? The battle's done. It's easy. I finished what I needed to do. God did the rest. The universe set up for me everything else that needed to be done. I'm always living in the version of myself that's constantly a victim and constantly at battle. Instead of being the version of myself that's already victorious. Congress is already setting up meetings with me so we can pass a bill called the Victor Act. And this is true. I've envisioned this, so I know it's going to happen. You heard it here first in this video. With my time here on Earth, Congress, the Senate, will pass a bill in my name called the Victor Act that will protect pro se litigants, American citizens, from being discriminated against, prejudiced against, and subject to judicial misconduct or abuse of power while representing themselves in court. It's happening. It's already done. It doesn't matter how I get there. It doesn't matter who God's gonna place here, and there to get it done. It's already done. Now, I keep talking about the version of me of I almost died and I almost did this and I blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. I accept that. And now I let it go because that version of me has brought me here to this version and I won. I have more money now than I'll ever be able to spend in my life, and I'm using that money to better the lives of myself, my family, and in any way God guides me to for others. I'm traveling the world and I'm making the world a better place. I'm sprinkling love and magic everywhere I go with the money I've been blessed with this settlement. And people are like, oh, that's just manifestation, it's delusion, it's bullshit. But has it worked any other way? Let me tell you, when I tried out for Bad Girls Club, when I tried out for Real World, I knew that I was gonna be on TV. I just knew I was gonna be on TV. There was like nothing and no one could tell me that I wasn't gonna be on TV and I wasn't at some point gonna be some type of a star. I knew that I was gonna be a rock star at some point. I just knew it, I knew it, I knew it. No one could tell me anything different. And then I made it to semifinals and I got cut and I was devastated. I was like, this isn't for me. I'm never gonna be on TV. I started literally going back to that lackful, unworthy, bullshit mindset that I felt my entire life. But the version of me that showed up to the audition saying I'm a star and I'm gonna make it is who I truly am. Because I am a star and I am going to make it. I am going to be successful in everything I do. I said, hey God, I want to be on TV. Make it work if it's meant to work. If it's not, then I guess I'll just go to law school. I was in college. My major was legal studies. I had every intention of becoming a lawyer anyway. The irony. A year later, I let it go. I stopped stressing myself about it. I gave up on my dream. A year later, I got an invitation to try out for Bad Girls Club. I wanted to be on Real World with Gabby. Gabby got cut around before me. But lo and behold, my dad fights with me that day. Gabby comes with me so I don't have to do the ride to Boston by myself. We go to Boston. You can try out with a friend. I try out with Gabby. I get what I always fucking wanted, which was on reality TV with my twin sister. And the reason I got it is because I let it go. I didn't stay in the version of I'm a loser, I'm not gonna get it because I got caught off Real World. I just said, hey, I'm going in here, fuck it. I know I'm a star. I'm meant to be on TV. But when I tried out for Bad Girls Club, it wasn't like an obsession. I wasn't like freaking out like I did when I tried out for Real World. I just said, hey, we're gonna make it or we're not. I know what I am. I'm a superstar. If the casting directors didn't see that, they're fucking lost. And we ended up getting casted. So as I'm thinking of this in my mind, and this isn't just with this is like when I hooked up with the guy from Chicago Fire. When I was in college, I watched Chicago Fire for the first time and I said to everyone around me, I'm gonna have that man. I'm going to have him. He's mine. Years later, I don't even watch Chicago Fire anymore. We exchanged DMs and I'm flying to Chicago not once but twice to be with this man. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is something that I wanted so long ago and now I'm getting it. Anything that you want in this world, even a person, you guys, even a person, a celebrity, if you want it, you can have it. That's how powerful you are, okay? These small little manifestations that I've had in my life, I've realized I've gotten it because one, I let it go. I didn't freak out about it. I didn't obsess over it. And two, I didn't attach it to any version of myself. If I never hooked up with this guy and never met him, it didn't make me unworthy. I didn't feel unloved, right? But then I think about situations where it's like John and how obsessed I was with John. John. I even wrote a book on Amazon called Dear John. And the reason that I was so obsessed with John is because John was my attachment to being unloved and unworthy. He was an attachment to a version of myself I just couldn't possibly fucking let go of. I loved that version of myself so much, I hated her. And so then I said to myself, okay, well, what is preventing me now from the things I want most in this world? I'll tell you the top things that I want. I'm going to win the lottery. Not because I need more money after my settlement, but because I just want to. It's something I've always wanted to do. I want to win won the lottery and I want to use that money as a hedge fund to help anyone in need, whether that's other animal organizations. If I'm walking down the street and I see someone running out of a building and they just lost their job and rent is due on Friday, I have lottery winning money and I'm gonna give you your rent money. I want to be able to bless people in ways where they start believing in something higher than themselves again. Truly. I know that I'm a lottery winner. I know that I'm a lottery jackpot winner. I know that I always win and I win big. I win on every scratch ticket and lottery ticket I buy. And just a prime example about how I always win. Gabby's work party had an event. They had Louis Vuitton. It was a raffle. I put my name in. You can only put your name in once. And I was talking to this lady at the party and she's talking about how she always loses. And I said, you should not be saying that out loud. And I said to her, I always win and I win big. I'm winning today. I'm winning one of the Louis Vuitton perfumes today. Now, me and my dad left early. We didn't know the rules of the raffle. Gabby's boss was like, if anyone leaves, we're not holding their gifts. We're just giving it away to somebody else. I leave literally 2 minutes after I leave. My sister calls me freaking out. She said, you won the Louis Vuitton perfume. But her boss was like, nope, she's not here. She's not getting it. And I chuckled to myself and I said, 1, 2 lessons are here. I should have been more patient and stayed at the party. Why would I leave if I know I'm winning a gift that I so deserve? 2, I always win and I win big. If you decree stuff for yourself over your life with your tongue every day, there is no possible way reality is not going to catch up to you. It's an impossibility. So I've decreed every day for 4 years that I'm winning my case. And I know that I am. I don't stress anymore when I do legal documents. I'm not scared of these people. I take them as angels in disguise, which Gabby would argue in my last video that it's not the truth. But I think that anyone that brings me to a place where I fully realize my power is a blessing in disguise, a gift wrapped in a bow. So the only thing that stands between me and my victory, me and sitting in a room talking to Congress about passing the bill that I want done in my name, is me. There's no one else. It's just me. And so I was like, I gotta let go of my past history. I have to let go of what happened to me. As much as I say that I have, there's still a part of me that holds so deeply onto that trauma. I'm like fully immersed in that trauma. And I realize that, and I know that, and I acknowledge that. And with that, I need to now accept it. What happened, happened. It was scary. It was one of the scariest things I've ever been through. But if it wasn't for that scary experience, would I be here remembering? Would I be here remembering who I am? And would I have the ability to remind other people who they are? No. This horrible experience was actually one of the best blessings that's ever happened to me. Every blessing is a gift, and the gifts are endless. Now I've got to let go of that history. I've got to start telling a different story. I got to start having different thoughts about my path in order to have the future, but the future doesn't exist, in order to have the now that I want to be fully present in now. And so I wanted to make this video to you guys to say, whether it is a job or a lover or a past relationship or a friendship, if you feel stuck, it's because you are stuck, but you're stuck to the past. You're stuck to the past version of yourself that is living in an experience, a timeline, a version of thyself that you no longer want. And so if you're constantly living something that you know you don't want, and you're expecting to live a life of things you don't want, you're going to continue to get things that you don't want. I hope this is making sense. Prime example. You hear people complaining about the world and how the world is a shitty place and, oh, bad things are happening here and there's no good people left in the world. If that's what you expect, that's what you're gonna get. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you expect the world to be a shitty place, the world you live in is going to be shitty. Every story you hear is going to be shitty. I tell you this, Gabby's For You page on TikTok and Instagram is entirely different than my For You page on TikTok and Instagram. I'm getting happiness, I'm getting love, I'm getting romance, I'm getting hot men, I'm getting vacations, I'm getting vision board visualizations, stuff that makes your hair grow and healthy, things to make your body and mind and skin feel vibrant. I'm getting things that make me want to strive to be a better place. She's getting stuff about like horrific stuff on the news, horrible articles and crimes, and I'm like, we're getting what we are expecting. We are living 2 different realities in the same reality, if that makes any sense. Whatever you expect is going to be a reality for you, and what you expect stems from your thoughts. In order to have different expectations, you have to have a different mindset. You have to have different thoughts. It is the only possible way to live a better life and have your wishes fulfilled so that you can be the version of yourself God intended you to be while you are living here on this earth. I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me very well. for anyone who's struggling, for anyone who feels darkness inside and envy and jealousy and criticism, constant criticism, not only of yourself but of others. That is not who you are. That is not who you were meant to be. You were meant to be love. Maybe not every moment will be perfect. We are half human. You are going to have moments where you mess up and you ask for forgiveness, probably up into your very last breath. But with that being said, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, which is also your heart because we are one, God did not put you here on this earth to suffer. He's not a God that wishes pain on any one of his creations. No, 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 no. The pain that we experience, the struggles that we go through, the things that we don't desire that are constantly showing up and showing up and showing up, we create. I hate to say this, we have to admit that they are being created because we created them. Even in that situation, you know, it was my destiny. I have accepted the mission that God has granted me in this lifetime, and I'm honored to be healthy and wise and brave and courageous enough to fulfill my portion of the mission. But there have been times where I am like in disbelief that I, Daniellevictor, am the one who created this situation. Yep, I did. I created all of it with my thoughts, my expectations, and like attracts like. I was filming true crime at the time. What did I think was gonna happen? I wanted to answer the question that everybody always asks. Well, if I'm God and if you're God, why are we living these lives? And why do you still live at home with your mom? Why are you still struggling? And so I hope I answered that for you. It's because I'm still holding on to my past. I'm still holding on to a version of myself that is so bound to scarcity and lack that it feels like a burden wearing on my body, weights that are so heavy, and I break those chains now. You hear me, God? God, mighty I am presence with the mighty power of God in me. Remove every obstruction that stands in my way between me and all that I desire, that I have created in this lifetime and every lifetime throughout the centuries. Break me free from it now. Open up every channel possible in your universe, in your galaxies, in this life available to me for my financial freedom, and release my surplus of abundance now. And I do not accept anything else. God, send me some money now today. I am the presence, ready, open, and willing to receive and accept God's abundance and opulence and riches in my hands and use now. It is done by God's own hand, by God's own hand, by God's own hand. It is done. It is done. It is done. I'm rich today. I'll be even richer tomorrow. I'm rich and powerful beyond measure. I am a child of a loving God. I am a child of a loving God living in an abundant universe. I'm a blessed giver. I use my wealth to better the lives of myself and others. I invest in myself. I invest in others. I have a treasure chest of talents ready to be used to make the world a better place and to provide me unlimited abundance. There's so many decrees that I can decree about wealth, but you know what I've realized I've been doing every day? Complaining about how I haven't stepped into that version of myself yet because I'm God. And so the answer is, how can I be God and not be living an abundant lifestyle in the land of milk and honey? It's because I'm still the version of Danielle that's living in the land of ruin. I end that contract with myself today. That version of myself, I love her, I hug her, and I bear her farewell. I bear her adieu. I don't know what to say. I bear her farewell. How do you say that? Whatever. I say fucking goodbye to that bitch.
Bye, girl. Bye, girl.
I say bye-bye to her. And I say hello to this version of me that I can't even tell you how many times I've closed my eyes and I've seen myself living in this beautiful, large home, and it's always the same home with these huge windows and a huge backyard where my dogs are playing, and I have the love of my life, and we're both living beautiful lives and loving one another. I never see his face. I only know he's there. I can feel his presence, like this masculine, strong presence. I live close to Gabby. I see all these things for myself, and I've seen them my whole life. I have seen myself being one of the richest women to walk the face of the earth, and I've always known that that's who I truly am. Not even just to look good and have nice things, but because it's about power, and power is being able to give back. Do you know how incredible it is to be able to help someone in need and have unlimited funds to do that? I haven't experienced that yet, but I am going to. I am doing that now. It is done. I think of all the time in my life I have wasted imagining and visualizing who I truly am, and then using my tongue and my mind to affirm my poverty and my lack and my unworthiness. It's just insane. Thank you to everyone who's asked me that question, including Gabby. How could you be God and be living this life? First of all, I'm living this life because I am God, and thank you, God, for this life. Thank you for this breath that I get to breathe. Thank you for this voice I get to use with authority. Thank you for this body, this temple that is always healthy. I'm literally always healthy. I'm not just saying this. I have been healthy for years, guys, years, because that's one thing I'm always decreeing. I am the presence of perfect health. I thank the intelligent conscious workers of my body for getting to work every day to heal every single imperfection and restoring me back to God's perfection. I use my tongue in certain ways that are so powerful that I see the result. I use my tongue to decree my perfect health, and I have been in perfect health. I see it. I witness it. I am it. And so if I'm decreeing with the mighty power of God in me for this, and it's working, it can absolutely work for everything else if I let go of my past history. For everyone watching, I hope that we could all together let go of our past history and step into this abundant, creative, prosperous, beautiful, kind, giving, wealthy, rich versions of ourselves, where we're just living lives that look like 360 degrees different than what we are right now when we're watching this video together. And then we can come back to this video and say, remember when? But then we'll say, no, I actually don't remember, because I let go of that past history of myself, and this version of me won't even exist. I am going to be on the bestsellers list, not once, but multiple times. I'm going to write multiple books, and my books will be read by millions of people globally. I will make good money off the words that God writes through me, because I'm merely a vessel. It is done. There's a few things I want in this world. It's to win the lottery. It's to become a best-selling author, a well-known author, to have at least 1 or 2 of my books be turned into film adaptations. It's to win my lawsuit, and to have a bill passed through Congress, the Senate, in my name, the Victor Act. Protect American citizens long after I've ascended into a different version of myself, body-wise. And it is done. Everything I want is already mine. It's already done. If it's planted in my heart, it was from God. And God's in me. I am God. So it is done. I want people to see God when they look at me. And when I look at others, I want to see God. I think if we can remember, if we can see that, not only in ourselves, but in others, we'll know we're at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, talking to the right people, and all is well. Because all has always been well. Even when it hasn't been well, it's been well. I love y'all. I have my period. I realized in my last video that my face was like so round, and I was like, what the hell? I just couldn't get myself to put on makeup today because I'm, you know, bleeding from my vagina. And my cycles are so close to each other now. I just counted from my last period to now, it was only 20 days. I'm like, okay, thank you for the 8 days I was supposed to have without it, but here we are. Anywho, I love you. You are God. I am God. We are God. I am thee. Thou art me. I'm protected, illumined, supplied, and free. I am everything I want to be. And you are everything you want to be. So when you wake up every day and you start using your tongue and you start thinking thought, don't think about anything and don't talk about anything else other than what you want and who you want to be. Other than that, it doesn't exist. Let go of the past. Let's go of the past together. No more talking about it. No more living it. We let it go starting right now. Right now, we let it go. Together. I love you. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. I don't care if it's 1,000 of you or 10 of you. I'm just gonna keep posting these videos because I know that part of the reason I survived what I went through is because I am given a duty, and we are all given a duty on this earth to not only remember who we are, but to help others, to uplift others, to maybe say 1 thing or 2 things or 3 things or 100 things over a span of time or whatever that'll help someone live a better life than what they're living right now. Because we all deserve to live amazing, beautiful, successful, healthy, prosperous lives. But lives where we are of service to humanity, uplifting the world, just by being you. And by being you, you're loved. Not by gaining all these materialistic things and becoming a piece of shit. Don't be that guy. Alright? Okay.